Hello, I'm Barbara Dancer, and we're going to use a practice today where we're thinking about working with our breath primarily, even though we're doing asana. And so the asana practice will focus on the breath and also take us into some pranayama practice. This is something that in class we've been working with, thinking about how to lengthen the breath and then work with the holds at the end of the inhale and the exhale. So start by coming up to samastiti. Finding a comfortable position where you're steady. Notice if you can breathe through your nose, and ideally that's what we're doing. Breathing in and out through our nose. And begin with some arm movements. So arm movements into and out of Tadasana, raising and lowering arms. Inhale to raise and exhale to lower. And the focus for this movement is to lengthen the breath, both the inhale and exhale, and see how that is. So use Ujjayi to control and lengthen the breath. Bring the arms forwards as you inhale. Exhale as you lower, timing the movement with your breath. And start the movement at the same time or just after the start of your breath. Finish the movement just before or at the same time as the end of the breath. Let's carry on. So remember, the aim is not necessarily to go at my speed, but to find your own lengthened inhale and exhale. We all have our own personal breath length. Maintaining a breath that's manageable for you. Let's use 2 more movements. Bringing arms down to the sides whenever you've finished. Now we look at specifically lengthening the exhalation, and to help us do that we'll use Uttanasana, so going into a standing forward bend and coming back out of it. We'll repeat a number of times. Do the version of Uttanasana with the arms that's right for you, so that could be arms out in front, it could be arms to the sides, it could be sweeping arms round onto the back. And again, we'll work within what's comfortable, so not necessarily following what I'm doing. Find your own lengthened exhale. So we're raising arms as we're taking a breath in. Lengthen the exhale as you go into a forward bend. Allow yourself to come up and breathe in more quickly. And we're also allowing the knees to bend as much as feels necessary or to make the movement feel comfortable. And so if you're using arms sideways, you'll take them out to the sides and down. and lift the arms sideways to come up. Let's use a couple more movements. It's thinking about that long exhale. You might find that you have time to add in extra movement like the neck. And bring arms down at the end. So it's fine to realise that when you get to the end of a series of movements, if you feel slightly out of breath, that's because you've tried. That's because you put in effort. We don't want to be exhausted and really panting, but it's fine to have a little bit of time to allow your breath to settle at the end. Okay, so now we're thinking about specifically lengthening the inhalation, and we'll use some movements in Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 for that. So we're turning out the right foot and step forward with the left. And find a comfortable stride forwards. We're raising the arms up, and because we're thinking about the inhale, I'm going to suggest that you also, rather than have the arms very high up, widen the arms to be able to draw them back. We don't want to feel as though there's not much room to breathe in. We want to kind of create a roomy upper body space to breathe into. So as you're taking a breath in, we're lengthening the inhale, breathe through the nose. Exhale might be quicker, let the breath go. And we'll repeat. And as we're doing this, see if you can keep the movement and breath going rather than holding at the end. Okay, just 3 times because we're changing sides, and repeating 3 times to the other side. So turning left leg out, step forwards with the right, and then bringing arms forwards. Widen arms and let the shoulders go back. Lower down as you exhale. Remember, keep the movement and breath going as long as feels comfortable. Not too much of a hold. Exhale might be quicker. And that's our 3 movements, so stepping back after that. Lengthening the inhale is always a little bit of a challenge, so let your breath settle. We'll step forwards again, this time to do Parshvattanasana, so flank forward bend, and then moving from there into a sort of triangle posture. We're rotating to the side. So let's use some movement forwards. We're going to lengthen the exhale as we go forwards, and we're repeating that movement just 3 times. So bringing the arms up, take a breath in. Long exhale to move forwards. Bend the front knee as much as you want to. Return back to stand. That might be more quickly than exhale. Again, a long exhale forward. And back to stand. One more movement forwards and up. And then forwards again, and we're going to stay forwards. Over the front leg. Take the right arm to the right side, lengthen the inhale. Lower the arm as you exhale. Again, exhale's probably going to be shorter. Long inhale to the side, shorter exhale to lower. And then we'll return back to stand. Take a breath into stand and return back to stand. Exhale to lower arms down. Pause the breath as you step back. Okay, so we'll repeat to the other side. Turn the left foot out, step forwards with your right. Need a bit of space here. Oh, I'll go in the other direction so you can see what I'm doing. Raise arms with a breath in. Long exhale forwards into Parsvottanasana. Return to stand more quickly. So one more movement forwards. We're staying forwards this time. Turning to the left, use a breath in. Lengthen the inhale. Lower down the arm more quickly as you exhale. So again, to the side, lengthen the inhale. Last one. Lower the arm down, return back to stand with a breath in. Lower arms down. Pause the breath at the end of the exhale to step back. Okay. So we're coming down to work onto hands and knees. And if we think about using Chakravakasana, cat posture, and working with some leg extension movements, have some space behind you. Let's go back. Let's start off with a backwards movement as we exhale. And then coming forwards, extending one leg. And at the end of the inhale, have a short pause. Move back as you exhale. Changing legs. We're not really thinking about the length of the inhale here, but we're thinking about this pause. Lower down, moving back as you exhale. So as we inhale, we're pausing and holding the posture still, holding the breath still. Lower back, lower down and lower back, and to the other side, so alternating sides. One more to each side. Moving, and then notice the pause. Let's finish with a backward movement as you exhale. Come back to hands and legs, taking weight evenly. Let your breath settle. It's good to notice that as we extend or as we work with one part of the breath, it's very usual, it's almost always the case that the next part of the breath will feel a little like you need to adjust it to make it more relaxed. So when we push one part of the breath, allow the next part to be more relaxed. Okay, so now we're thinking about pauses at the end of the exhale. We're going to use a movement from hands and knees back towards heels, a child pose, or it's a different way of working with Chakravakasana. And at the end of the exhale, we'll notice the pause. So we're moving back as we breathe out, hips towards heels, noticing the pause as we stay there. Inhale back onto hands and knees and repeat at whatever length of breath is comfortable for you. This is also a combination of stilling the breath and stilling the movement together. We'll use 2 more movements. Find what's comfortable in terms of length of breath and length of pause. Sometimes with this particular movement we can find a long pause and that's comfortable, but we just vary from person to person. Return back to hands and knees when you've finished. Okay, so now we're moving to sitting and working with some pranayama. And you can see this is a short asana practice. It's as much about the pranayama as it is about the asana in this practice. Don't feel like you're not doing yoga by moving into your pranayama and enjoying the sense of working with the mind and working with the nervous system that we get when we focus on pranayama. And you might already notice that there have been some effects because we've been thinking about using our breath a lot. Sit comfortably, rest the hands into the lap, or maybe you want to rest them onto the knees, in whichever hand position works best for you. And we're going to work with longish inhale and exhale. So we're working with a resonant breath or a resonant breathing. And I'll count off 5 seconds. So you can tune into that, tune your breath into that. And then I'll count off 6 seconds and maybe tune into your breath into that and see which one you prefer. Work with whichever one you prefer. And then we'll add in some pauses. Okay, so close your eyes if you're comfortable to do that. Breathe through your nose. Using Ujjayi will help you to regulate your breath in the length that you want to, and whatever length feels comfortable for you. And then I'll count off 5 seconds, allowing a pause of about 2 seconds in between, which means that's the time when you change the direction of the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice if that length, 5 seconds, is comfortable for you for both the inhale and the exhale. Carry on using that length if that's comfortable and easy to do. You might find that counting that in your head helps you to sustain that rhythm. And I'll now use a 6-second count. If you want to, then time the inhale to 6 seconds and time your exhale to 6 seconds too. See how it goes. You might find this one is more challenging. You might not find it's comfortable. You might find that you prefer this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And carry on in that rhythm if that feels comfortable for you. Again, you might count off those seconds in your head. If that feels too long, if 6 seconds isn't comfortable, return back to 5 seconds or return back to whatever length is comfortable for you. And now, if you want to, if you would like to, then add in some pauses at the end of the inhale and at the end of the exhale. So a noticeable pause. You decide what length feels comfortable for you to work with. You can carry on using those pauses. Perhaps you would like to work with a longer pranayama practice. However, if you're just working with a shorter practice and you've tried out those pauses and noticed how they are, then remove the pauses from your breath work now, and let yourself return back to a comfortable length of inhale and exhale. This might be your longer inhale and longer exhale, or it might be that you're ready to shorten the breath. If you are still working with a long inhale and a long exhale, so we'll call 5 or 6 seconds a long inhale and long exhale, then shortly, if you reduce the length, bring the length down to maybe 4 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds. So we're bringing our breath towards what is our usual breath length. So do that and give yourself maybe 4 breaths at that shorter breath length, so that you're making a transition out of the practice and back to normal unconscious breathing. And we want to check that that feels okay, that we're not, our breath doesn't feel uncomfortable. We want to be able to return to our unconscious pattern of breathing without any problems, and notice that that feels okay. It can feel a little difficult to leave those lovely long breaths and come back to a shorter breath length. And then whenever you're ready, allow your breathing to be unconscious again. Perhaps take your attention to how you're sitting. Now is a good time to notice the effect of your pranayama practice and the asana practice before that too. How would you describe how you are now? And then ending your practice whenever you're ready. Opening eyes and moving in whichever way feels suitable for you. So thank you very much for joining me in this practice where we looked at advanced yoga in terms of what we were doing with our breathing. So, that's a good reflection that yoga is not always about postures, and sometimes when we work with our breathing practices, we can make those quite advanced and not really be too concerned about the postures. But we did a bit of preparation in our asana, as well as then having some time to work with our pranayama.